What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and it's Nuff of the Week time, and in a first for Nuff of the Week, I believe. Someone go fact check me. Go back, check the archive, but I don't think I've been here before. For the first time in Nuff of the Week history, I'm actually nuffing our beloved Geelong Football Club, and specifically two individuals, Chris Scott and Bailey Smith, for some of their antics this week. We've got a couple of angry cats in the house, off the back of some really angry Cats fans, which included myself, I might add, at the qualifying final against the Lions, and specifically directed at Cam Rayner. There's a bit of anger, there's a bit of spice, there's a bit of heat in the Geelong Football Club this week. And while sometimes that can be considered okay, because you're on edge, you're playing on edge, and there's an intensity that comes with that often manifests in good things on field. Off field, it's created us a few issues this week. So we're going to talk about Bailey Smith, we're going to talk about Chris Scott and what they got involved in, and the problems that it's kind of created. Right up this word from our sponsor.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now, let's get into the story here, because by the time I record this, it's all now pretty much done, dusted, and been resolved. But I want to kind of walk backwards, go through what occurred, and pick through kind of what went wrong here. So, brought her to tears. Cat star and coach sorry for separate aggressive outburst incidents. These were two separate scenarios. So while everything here is bundled in one article, let me make sure that I'm really clear. These are two separate stories involving, four different people and two different sets of people. So make sure you keep that in mind as we go here. But the article reads from Fox Sports. Geelong coach Chris Scott and star midfielder Bailey Smith have both apologised to women who they aimed verbal outbursts at. It was reported on Thursday evening Scott had brought an AFL staff member to tears after questioning the presence of accredited media person at a press conference following the Cats' qualifying final win over Brisbane. Scott called the staffer on Wednesday to apologise after Geelong CEO Steve Hocking spoke with league officials, according to Code Sports. He has not been sanctioned and his apology has been accepted. It came just hours before Smith apologised via text message to the News Corp photographer who he swore and gave the middle finger to at a Geelong training session on Wednesday. Just to be clear, because this one, the Bailey Smith one, has been a little bit more documented. Amongst whatever else he said, he described this woman as being fucking shit, quote unquote. Apologies for the language there. That was basically the language that was directed at this photographer, who apparently has been doing photography at the Geelong Football Club for years now, I believe, several decades. She's well known. So it was a very strange outburst in the first place. And it's hardly a surprise, to Bailey, really, that as one of the highest profile players at our club, that the paparazzi are after him as well. But that just even AFL, accredited photographers are going to hone in on him. They're going to be studying every single move he makes. Is he injured? Is he carrying anything? At this time of year, that's how this stuff goes. And it was really disappointing to see kind of Bailey lose his mind like he did. Now, I think there's been a bit of mayo put on this. Everyone was really suggesting that it was super aggressive and he got right up in her face. And then you watch the video and she's a good, I'd say 7 or 8 rows back from the fence. And Bailey's probably another couple meters, kind of on the actual boundary line. So a couple meters from the fence. So there's a good, I would say 15 meters perhaps between them at least. So I think there's been a little bit of mayo put over in terms of just how intimidating he allegedly was. The language, completely unacceptable. And we don't want to be treating anyone like that. But look, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the greatest student of body language, but I don't think there was necessarily something demonstrative, or not even demonstrative, but I don't think he was trying to intimidate. I think he was angry. He was frustrated about something, and I think he was wrong to react the way he did. But I don't know if it was as extreme as some are suggesting. The one that's more intriguing, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of kind of mystery, is the Chris Scott one. And that one, it's a little less clear, like just the presence of someone in the room. Like, did we need to lose our mind over that? I don't know. Scotty, not his best moment. But this is Alison Wind here, the photographer who was involved, speaking about the Bailey Smith incident. She said, in more than 2 decades of covering the Cats, I've never been spoken to like that by a player. She says she appreciates Bailey acknowledging that his behaviour was unacceptable, and I just hope that I can have a positive working relationship with him moving forward, especially as the Cats head towards, hopefully, the grand final. I've had amazing messages of support from all around the globe. I'm looking forward to going back and covering the news, not being part of it. And that's perfectly reasonable on her part. I'm not at all a fan of what she had to endure. We can see Bailey here, even on the boundary line, getting a massage and getting some work done. He's flipping off the cameras. He got himself into a situation here, and then rather than resolving it, he dug deeper and deeper and deeper. And this is obviously, there's a bit of a pattern of behavior there, and how much we kind of link to some of the mental health things that he himself has been very open in describing over the years remains to be seen. But I would say, regardless of what inner demons he might or mightn't be battling, speaking to anyone, let alone a woman, the way he has is completely unacceptable. I don't know if it was intimidatory, but the way he spoke was still completely unacceptable. To criticize someone for just doing their job, she wasn't chasing him, she wasn't getting up in his face, she wasn't asking excessive questions. She was just standing there several rows back with her camera, as she's paid to do, taking photos. Bailey Smith walked straight past. So what do you think she's going to do? She's going to take photos of one of the marquee players of the Geelong Football Club. So I think it was really unreasonable for him to get frustrated by that. His response, completely unacceptable, but maybe not intimidatory. But if more comes to light, I'm happy to walk back that sentiment as well. If I've maybe missed some of the other parts of this exchange that would be considered intimidatory, then I'll happily walk back that sentiment. It's just based on what little I know at this point and what little has been published. I don't see it. And the video doesn't make me think that's the case either. It's not like he stopped and then approached and got closer and closer. He was kind of mouthing off from a distance, which is, again, kind of pathetic, but not necessarily intimidatory. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Bailey Smith, Chris Scott, just cool your jets. Again, being on edge at finals time, not a bad thing. But when you're off field, let's just get back into that calm, relaxed, energetic, happy state that we all need to be in, that the rest of us can be in, that you need to be in too. The pressure is at its highest going into this week, especially now that we know we're playing the Hawks. But let's just cool it a bit, okay? Let's not get too carried away. Let's save this intensity for the ground, and then let's not smack anyone in the head with a ball, Bailey Smith. That's where we'll wrap things up for this entry of Nuff of the Week. Chris Scott and Bailey Smith. It is you this time, the first time that Geelong individuals have ever been Nuff of the Week, as far as I recall. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to like it, share it with your friends and family, get the word out there about all of the awesome content that the Hoops Crew team are producing from myself, Ben, and the chaps. Subscribe if you're enjoying it as well. If you really are into what we're doing, consider checking out our Patreon, patreon.com/thehoopscrew, where there's a 7-day free trial period to get all of the early access, extended, and exclusive content you'd like. And then if you enjoy it, $5 a month is all it takes to continue to get this stuff delivered directly to your email inbox. You'll find me on socials at Paul James Games. That's on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. The Hoops Crew, you'll find at The Hoops Crew. And until next time, thank you everyone for watching. Bailey, Scotty, be better, please. Remain Geelong strong, everyone, and I'll see you later.